Mm-hmm. Whoa. Whoa. It's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. Is the lighting better? Is the lighting better here? What's going on? What's going on what's going on? We got our coffee, we got our drinks. Yeah, so it is a perfect segue to get on joy is the act of rebellion. Joy is the act of rebellion is the theme. We're gonna keep working on joy is the act of rebellion. We took it got a little goofy the last couple weeks. I have to admit that the fire dipped back down to my old community was it took a lot of energy. Took a lot of energy and we kind of had to ride that one out. And then, we got caught up in the latest puppetry. But here we are, dude. So today I did a live stream breaking down some stuff today, got into the weeds about it all. And then what's going on, Jeanette, Andrew? We got, who else we got? We got Sigma Fu, Super Secret, KMR TV, Free as a Bird, Brian Pipes. Dude, I'm ready for the new. I was gonna call about the 2025 shirt, Joy's the Act of Rebellion. Because I'm back in the t-shirt game. I did figure out what I was doing wrong, and I've been on a silk screening tear lately. Oh, good. See that? Minigram got a new job, dude. Good for her, dude. I'll give you a call to let's talk tomorrow. I got a bear. So today, joy is an act of rebellion, dude. So I did the gnarly stream this morning. I woke up. So last night I went and I got the call. I got some of the black lung pup. So I got a little of the black lung pop, and I instantly dosed myself with some black seed oil. I don't know how many people understand what a powerful thing the black seed oil is. I highly can't recommend it because I'm not a doctor or a health practitioner. So I'm highly not recommending the black seed oil. But so I took a couple big teaspoons of it last night, and I got it down. And the Egyptian's a little bit tamer than the other stuff I had. And I woke up this morning, I wasn't feeling 100%. I rallied, did the live stream this morning because I was like, I gotta get in the weeds about all that stuff. And then I took Owl to the skate park. For a minute, and here, wait. Do you want to see a clip? I got a clip, dude. He's starting to roll. Wait, look at him go, dude. He doesn't know how to use his knees yet. So I took Owl to the skate park for a while this morning, and did some rolling around, got some frontside grinds in. The bird is working on his turning and get slowly linking it all together. And then we did a little bit of rock hounding for about 45 minutes, an hour over in Keysville there, which is like a place where you can do recreational mining. It's like a BLM site where you can do recreational mining. And we went over and did that for a little while. Came back. I kind of started feeling a little funky again. And then we went and we got the pitching machine going. and Al was hitting some dingers, and then the pitching machine like broke. And I was like, whatever. So I called the number. So this is a trip. So I called the number on the pitching machine because I just got it. I didn't get like a gnarly one. I got, I got the one I could afford, the cheap one. And but it works good enough, dude. The dude's 9.5, dude, but he's hitting dingers all of a sudden. And so I called up the pitching machine, and dude, I got like a good old boy. I got a good old boy, right? And I was like, oh, whoa, dude. Normally it goes to like some call center somewhere. I got a real good old boy on the phone. And he's like, let me put you on hold. And he put me on hold, and it was country music. And I was like, whoa, dude, when do you ever hear country music on hold? And then he put me on to the diagnostic guy. And I was like, he's like, let me go down. I got to go down to the bot downstairs and get a unit out, and we'll check it out. And he said, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. I went in with my wife, and I'm like, well, either I've got the greatest customer service in the world, or I'm getting totally scammed. He called me back like 5 minutes later. He's like, let's take your machine apart and do some diagnostics. And he's like, I think your motor, something's broken in there. He's like, I'm going to send out a new pitching machine unit, not all the stands and stuff, just the pitching machine unit. I'll send it out on Monday. Just put the old one in a box. I have a return label, and we're all good. I'm like, dude, like, this is unprecedentedly good customer service. I go, where are you guys out of, dude? Because I could tell the vibes. He's like, we're in Utah. So the Mormons out there in Utah are providing great customer service. So when this deal is done, I am going to go on a rampage for this pitching machine because the customer service has been phenomenal. So we don't know till the deal is done. We don't know. So I'm in there. I'm wrapping up the deal, getting the address and all the stuff with the pitching machine. And actually, I should be getting a confirmation. I think maybe that's on Monday. And I'm dealing with the pitching machine, and Al comes in. He's like, Riptide is dying. Riptide's the goat. So the two new baby goats we had like 4 months ago were Riptide and Sprite. Sprite was the girl and Riptide was the boy. But so like 2 weeks ago, we banded them to castrate them. And so Al comes in. He's like, Riptide is dying. And I'm on the phone with the guy trying to like wrap it all up. I'm like, hold on, dude. I come outside. The hologram's carrying the goat, hooves up. He's like, and I'm like, dude. And so we took him back over to the paddock, put him on some hay. And yeah, his eyes were rolled in the back of his head. His legs were stiffed out. And what it looks like what happened is him and his sister are just small enough where they squeeze through the fence and go get into trouble, dude. And I think when he was squeezing through the fence, he ripped his band, because what happens is it constricts and then they eventually fall off. But it's like it takes a while. But I think he ripped it. It got infected in his intestines and whatever. And so he's a goner. He's a goner. And yeah, so it reminds you, dude, here today, gone tomorrow, or something. Like, it all changes on a dime, dude. So it reminds me that it's it's gnarly, man. It's Riptide was a beautiful goat. I have to give it to him. It's a tragedy to have lost Riptide, the baby goat, but I don't have any, like, but but it is farm life. And so tomorrow there's going to be an addition to the pet cemetery. And the debate we had was, do we take Riptide down by the lake and let the coyotes have him, or do we actually like bury him? And Al was like, you got to bury him, dude. And I'm like, all right, dude. And I was like, yeah, we don't want to attract any yotes anyhow. So yeah, so we'll get the backhoe out tomorrow and dig Riptide a nice hole in the pet cemetery. And like 5 years from now, I'm going to have a fantastic skull with horns and the whole thing for some sort of artwork. That's where my head goes with this stuff. I did look at him for a second and be like, dang, I wish I was like super good at like skinning and doing all that stuff, but I'm not there yet. I'm not, that's a bit much, dude. And so yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer, but it's not like it's Maverick the dog. Maverick the dog would be a total like saw the title. Yeah, we're not, it's not a sorry thing. It's again, it's a reminder of joy is the act of rebellion, right? So I, this morning I got this nice email from Yannick today, and talking about like how, the vibe on the channel's been good lately because we've sort of gotten out of the crush of the last like 4 years or 5, however long it's been. And today we got a little back into it because I needed to rip on the tech oligarchy, but bringing it back to the farm is like, yeah, that is why we have to do what we have to do. And it comes with a certain level of reality to it, dude. Like it's pretty real. And this, and I'll tell you what, this is the reality of the situation. He's like, we got to let him pass on his own because none of my I don't have an actually small enough caliber to put him out humanely. All my stuff's big caliber. And I was like, my wife's like, and I'm like, dude, breaking out the big caliber stuff, dude. It's not like that. And then I was like, you know what? I could hook up my nail gun and stuff and like handle it like that. And she's like, well, I go, oh, yeah, it'll work. Super. So these are the things when you're fully responsible for your own reality is like, that's more where it goes, is like, yeah, that's a chink in our, as something we have to take care of here, is to have something to dispatch large animals in a humane way in situations where there is an untimely situation, dude. Not the nail. Well, when that's all you got, that's all you got. And actually, so it again is it's a, was eating it a possibility, or was it more of a pet? I have no problem eating it, but it's not, we're not, we wouldn't, if it was what, hey, Grateful Ed, thank you for the PayPal this afternoon. I appreciate that. What are you dispatching? One of our baby goats is croaking, and it's a goner. It ripped out we had it banded, its testicles banded, and it ripped out it's ripped open its guts. But no. So it's that thing of all of a sudden you kind of come up with this moment of, if it had been a normal situation where we would have had taken it to to the people that do that. Yeah, I have no problem with that kind of stuff, dude. Like we were gonna eat Brownie, but Brownie has become like our buddy. Brownie has won over with personality alone. Brownie, we used to joke, was the meat goat, and Brownie the meat goat has now become Brownie the dog goat. So Al has decided that he wants to turn Brownie into like a pack animal, and which is a totally logical thing to do with goats. Do goats make fantastic pack animals, dudes? Steve Irwin welcomes all the animals into the pearly gates. That's, you know what? That's what I'm, thank you. That's what I'm talking about is there's a super like matter of factness to it, but there's this, like, we all went and like sat around him and pet him and like, you know, he's our goat, dude. And then we let all his sister goat and mama goat hung out with them. And tomorrow we will have a pet goat funeral, dude. And do that and like that, and he'll go meet Steve Irwin, dude. That's a nice way to think about it, dude. Actually, dude. So again, is I guess what I'm getting back is you know, when we started doing this thing, was it quick and clean? Unfortunately, no. It's peaceful. He's just in there like slowly breathing. I'll tell you, the gnarliest thing was Mike. Mike, the mini puma was gnarly, dude. Because Mike the mini puma was a tragic, you know, Mike the mini puma's kidneys shut down, right? And I took Mike to the vet, and the vet gave him some stuff, which, according to the research I did, almost like accelerated it. So like, instead of us putting him down in a humane way that day at the vets, like, I took him home and we were waiting for like a test or something. And then Mike like died like a painful death in my arms. It was pretty heavy, dude. Like that was as far as animals passing, that was about as heavy as it gets. Cause like I just held Mike and it was super gnarly, dude. But he died in my arms. And you know what the trippy thing with Mike, dude? Like, I don't know, animal death, dude. It's with Mike was he was sick, and then there was he was super sick, and then there was like Owl and I sat and we prayed by Mike for a minute. We went and we sat and we prayed by Mike, and Mike like had this like 20-minute window where like he snapped back into it for a little bit, and he popped his head up and he was all like kitty cat, and we patted him and we hung out with them, and like we had our final moment with Mike, but it was straight a response to prayer. And then Mike fell back into his like situation, and then later that night it was gnarly, dude. It was gnarly, dude. Poor cat. And then I called up the vet the next day. I'm like, dude, you left me hanging, man. Like, you left me hanging, bro. He's not like some random vet. We all know him, dude. Like, it was, you know, it was Malibu, dude. I was like, dude, like, what are you doing, bro? Like I need, like, dude, we should have put the cat down, dude. It was hectic, bro. And yeah. Anyway, so with this situation here on the farm, it reminds me that when you remove all the filters of this society, right? When you take it back, so joy is the act of rebellion, right? And let's get this back over the target of what this really is about, is when you realize that there's no one coming to save you and that you have to take responsibility for your own reality. You have two ways to do it. You can dread it and live in fear, or you can embrace it and act in joy. And it's been a journey to get here, dude. You know, like my friends Andrew and Jeanette, we talked 6 months ago. It wasn't so easy. It's been a very hard journey to get to this point of being able to take that in stride. Like, you have to understand is like, we just took that in stride today. Like, not like if we had lost one of our goats 2 years ago, I don't know if we would have been able to like deal with it in stride. Like, there would have been that moment of like, do we need to call and there's nobody up here, dude. There's no one who does that up here, dude. It's not like that, dude. It's neighbors and like the cows, like we know who to call about the cows and all that kind of stuff. But generally you learn how to deal with your own animals on your own. Like, we have all of our stuff for the chickens, right? Like, we have all of our stuff. We have the stuff for the goats and the cows. And at a certain point, that's all you can do. And so I think like this, like almost 3 years into this, like when it showed up, there was a moment of like, oh my God, like Riptide, our goat, is dying. And then there was like a moment of like, yeah, he is. So how are we gonna do it? And we just sort of like rallied around and made it peaceful and mellow and whatever. And so what I'm getting at is when you get to this point in the thing where you have to take responsibility for the reality you're inhabiting, you realize that's part of the territory of joy. Like 20 minutes before, we were hitting baseballs in the backyard. Like Owl's out there hitting dingers down into the creek, dude. Like killing it on his baseball, dude. Right? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, 1 minute you're out there hitting baseballs, the next minute they're like, hey, the goat's dying, and then you're rallying, and then you go through the whole process pretty quickly, and then it's like, well, like, time that we got to like go make dinner and take care of the other animals and do what we do here on the farm, and so, or the ranch, or whatever we're calling this. And so it reminds me of why we need to do this stuff, is not because like there's like, it's not callousness, it's matter of factness that this is the nature of this lower dimensional reality, dude. We are not sitting on the throne with God right now up in heaven, dude. We're down here in this lower dimensional reality of harsh truths and beautiful beauty at the same time, right? And so it is a mixed bag at any given moment. Like, you just sort of move from one thing to the next, and it's up to you to find the joy in the thing. And I think for a minute, like the joy of it is like, yeah, like, we do have a bunch of, like, we bred those animals ourselves. Like, that goat, we didn't go buy it from someone. Like, it was born here on the ranch, man. And it had a happy little life here. And it was a little mischievous goat, dude, doing goat things. And so you move to the on to the next phase, which was instantly like, the thought was, well, we need to breed the other goat because it's ready now. Have some more goats. Have some more baby goats. And I don't really know what it's got to do with anything, to tell you the truth, except it's Friday night, dude. It's Friday night, man. And Yeah, don't get the hand at 608 here. High for love with the positive, man. I would like to think Steve Irwin faked his death to get out of the hustle and went into the bush. Maybe, dude. Maybe, dude. Commander Minecraft 69 really did these much needed positive vibes. Yeah, man. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is there's nothing that makes you realize the choice of what positivity will bring you then in a situation like that. Like Al was super bummed at first, like kind of like pissed. He was out riding his bike, threw his helmet down. I hate living in the country. If the farm animals are gonna die, this sucks, man. He was super mad. And then I went and talked to him, and he was off getting a new pail of dog food for Maverick. And I went and talked to him, and he's like, we talked, and then he got out, and I was like, so how are you gonna do it? Are you gonna be mad, or are you gonna go over and pet our buddy and send him off with a positive vibe and realize how blessed we are, dude, here on the thing? Because like it's interesting, like, yeah, if you don't want any of these like farmyard consequences, there is a cubicle waiting for you. There's a nice, clean, no consequence-free cubicle where the government will totally take care of you, and you can watch very like hallucinogenic TV and programming, or I don't even know if it's TV anymore, programming, and be taken to a faraway land where the only thing dying is human beings on the programming. Like, I don't know, man. Like I think that when you really get down to it, it's such a positive like life cycle. Like it's like the thing with the chickens, right? Like, we love our chickens, man, but they don't live that long, dude. So like we've had our batch of chickens now almost, well, the first batch got chowed by the bobcat, so this is the second batch. So we're going on 2.5 years, right? You know, they come, they go, man, and you enjoy them while they're here, type of thing, right? You enjoy them while they're here, and you watch the sunrise come up over the mountains, and you watch the sunset over the mountains, and all the stuff that goes on in between. And you try to make the most of it. I think that, you know, I was watching last night. I don't do it a lot, but last night my wife and I were looking at old video clips of Owl when he was like 2 and 3, and just, you know, right when he's first like talking and like talking story and the whole thing, and just his, you know, how different his voice is and the whole thing. And you're watching it and you're like, where did all the time go, dude? Like, it's already like that. Like, I remember when it was all brand new, dude, like brand new. And then all of a sudden you're here. He's like 9.5, and he's got his own ideas, and he does his own things, and he's all about himself. And I mean, but he's not like, he's a good kid, man. And you watch that and you realize that like there is a certain, it was like this kid I was talking to the other day on here. There's a certain meaninglessness to it all, right? And so what is the meaning to it all? And I think that's why people, the meaning is to find the joy, right? Because the whole thing that I think's going on right now is that because the very nature of the human experience only has meaning if you go to God and find the depth of the interdimensional transition of a loving God. Like, this stuff down here is pretty hollow. And what do I mean by that? It's sort of, if you checked out that video I made the other day where we were up looking for Amazonite, you're out there in the middle of the desert and you're searching around in the desert for this little blue chunk of rock, right? And I was trying to talk to Owl about it. I was like, look, man, because he's like 9. So I'm like, look, the joy of what we're doing is not finding the little blue rock in the desert. It's the fact that we're out doing this thing together. That, like, when I really think about it, like one of the great gifts that I was given. So I was given 2 gifts, like real gifts from my parents. I was given a gift from my father and a gift from my mother. The gift I received from my mother was my love for being an equestrian, my skills at riding a horse. I'm an equestrian. I can go jump on a horse and ride it, and I love it. And I've had some of my most fantastic experiences of my life on horses and riding around and doing that. And it's something I aim to get back to. Like, that was a gift my mom gave me. My mom gave me a love and a skill of being an equestrian and loving horses and understanding horses and being able to speak with horses and having that whole like lifestyle component in horses. And no, it's never really been seen on this channel. I think early on I rode my old horse a couple times. But like, it's something that's a big part of my like life, right? That my mom gave me. And then my dad gave me like nature, like the appreciation of the great outdoors. Like, that's like, my dad used to take me backpacking when I was a little dude. I had a backpack for my teddy bear and all that kind of stuff. And I used to go out backpacking with him and his friends and out into the Sierras and whatever, and the whole thing. Like, I grew up doing that. Like, so like the gift of nature, my dad gave me, right? And so I was out in the out collecting rocks with Owl the other day, and I'm sitting up on top of that mountain. I'm thinking about my dad. My dad's getting older now. He's not able to get around like he did before. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching Owl dig around in the rocks, dude, looking for the blue rock, And I'm like, this is the gift. Like, this is the gift. This is what it is. It's like if I can link this thing together, right? The gift my dad gave me, the love of nature and the great outdoors. And if I can transmit the gift to my son, I'll have bridged like the generational gift. I will have passed on the thing that's most affected my life on a huge level. Like, it's made me crazy on one level too. It turned me into a crazy environmentalist. And I suffer when the environment suffers, dude, because I see the beauty. I truly like. And I didn't get raised in a house with like. I didn't get raised with God or without God. I got raised by parents that were like, you need to figure it out for yourself. We're not. And I think that was I get it now that I have a spiritual understanding. It's a totally different reality for Owl because we're part of a church and we do it, but I let him figure it out for himself. Right. And like the other day, Owl, we were sitting there and we were talking about something, and Owl looks at me and he's like, what is God? And I'm like, he's like, what is God and how do I know he's real? And I was like, dude, you just asked the greatest question of human existence. What is God and how do I know he's real? Dude, like, what is he? And I remember, and I sat there like, and I realized like the minute that I couldn't just be like silent. I had to try to explain this deep, unexplainable understanding and get it far enough down the line to be like, look, it's up to you to answer that question. It's between you and God what that is. And for me, the what got me to God was horses and nature. Because like horses, if you really understand like how fantastically spiritual conduits horses are to the ether, like I don't think people really understand that horses are like interdimensional time travel animals, dude, that connect to the ether and are actually living like Tesla coils, dude, like too. And like when you get on a horse and you tap into the thing and you truly understand what's going on, like it's pretty like next level, dude. And that was something I could always kind of relate to. And then nature, I always could see it. I could always see the fingerprint of God, like for real. And then so that was when it got to like my personal relationship with God. It wasn't like some giant like leap of metaphysical understanding or philosophical understanding. It was like I could feel it. I could see it. I could embody it. It was all around me. It was everything. And what really brought it home was the birth of Owl. Like watching my son being born was the final understanding of the miracle that is God. And so when I'm sitting out in the woods so I was sitting out on the side of this mountain with Owl, and we're looking for the little blue rock. I'm thinking about my dad. I'm looking out at this vista with, you know, Mount Whitney on one side and the other mountains on the other side, and the Owens Valley, and we're climbing up the side of this mountain looking for the little blue rocks. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I wish my dad was here, dude. You know, be cool, man. Just like the whole thing. And I'm like, well, he is. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about, what does this all mean? And I'm like, this is the great meaninglessness of it all. And I go, the meaninglessness is in itself the ultimate meaning, because like it's this thing where you can see the interdimensional split of God. Like I was standing at that spot and I could see the Sierra mountain range going from the snow-capped Mount Whitney's just bending over up the Owens Valley into infinity. And then the mountain range I'm standing next to doing the same thing. And then the valley going up there and the sun, and I could see all the boulders and owls climbing around down there looking for the blue rock. I'm thinking about my generational like conduit to time and space. I'm thinking about God. And at the same time, I'm like completely like void of meaning, right? I'm just sitting on the side of this go, what is this, right? And I'm having this moment, and then I'm looking at Owl and I'm like, and he's busy looking for the rocks, and I'm like, does he understand that this is the reward? This is the reward. It's not, this is the reward. It's not even, may not even make sense for you today. It might be years and decades down the line where you look back and you're like, oh, I remember being on the side of the mountain with my dad looking for the blue rock in this place in the Sierras. And the minute he remembers that moment, like it'll tap into me remembering my dad, right? And then it's like this interdimensional shifting through time and space. And I just think about this stuff, and when I'm staring at our goat dying, I'm just thinking about like the energy field and what's it all about and what are we doing, and it all comes home to like the fact that like yeah, that like this is the rebellion. Like this is what they're doing at the rebel base in Star Wars. Like this is the rebellion. It's not flying little X-wing fighters into taking out the Death Star. It is understanding the interdimensional like relationship with on high and the creation, and realizing that you're part of it in the biggest way possible. And yet the part of it that's so important to realize is this, like, that you're insignificant at the same time. Like you're so significant, but the real power of your significance is your insignificance. It's this paradoxical space that you occupy where you're like, whoa. And I get why people want to invest in these leaders and these systems and these departments and these people in uniforms, and someone's going to save me, and if only this and only that. Because when you stand on the side of that rocky mountain and you realize how insignificantly significant you are, that place, without the connection to a loving God, is the most terrifying spot ever, dude. And I think about how it doesn't terrify me. I think about when I used to go there, and in the midst of my alcoholism and my addiction and all that stuff, because that was what I used to do. I would go and I would disappear into the vistas, right? I would go out into the nature, and I would sit at these incredibly beautiful interdimensional portals on the sides of mountains with my stuff and my alcohol and my weed and myself. And I would sit there and I would look at creation. I would look at God's tapestry or fingerprints or whatever you want to call it. I would sit there and I would have this same understanding, but without any connectivity, right? Without any genetic connectivity. See, the whole key that we have to understand is it doesn't work if you don't have an offspring. And that's the thing that, like, I didn't get on. I was, and I don't think that, like, that's what people really get is the time travel mechanism isn't some H.G. Wells novel or something. It isn't some machine. It is our offspring and their offspring and their offspring and their offspring. And I think about that because when I used to go sit at the side of on the top of the mountain or the side of the cliff or wherever it was, and I used to look at God's fingerprints, it was a terrifying place because there was no tether to the time machine. So I was lost in time and space. I was just adrift, if you will. And it's like that thing. I think the best way to think about it, I was like a dude who was just shot out of the space capsule into the airlock and just spinning through space. Like, yeah, I could see the beauty of the cosmos, but there was no tether to connect me back to the thing. I don't know what the thing is, man. The thing's God, right? And so, like, I'm sitting out there and I'm like, I'm having these, I have this moment and where I'm like, this is what it is. And it's very etheric. I think the word I want to use is etheric, but maybe that's not correct. It's very thin. Thin is the word I'm thinking about. Like, and I think that's why everybody is so distracted right now is the thinness of this reality, this lower dimensional, 3-dimensional, 5 sense reality is so paper thin. And if you look at it, sometimes you can see right through it. You can see right through the pinhole of it all. And for a lot of people, it is out in nature when you can see through. You could literally put your finger right through it. And most people, that's why they live in this thing full of streets and grids and buildings and machines and input, right? Is because it fills that thing where they don't see that it's immensely paper thin, because if they understood that it's that paper thin, they might shriek in terror, because on the other side of it, it's like maybe a better way to explain is this. So I was flying on an airplane from Taiwan to Los Angeles, right? I was flying on an airplane from Taiwan to Los Angeles, and I was standing waiting to go to the bathroom, right? And we were like over the North Pacific somewhere, dude, like 5 hours one way and like 7 hours. I think they're 13-hour flights, right? So 5 hours one way, 8 hours further. So you're just in the middle of nowhere, dude, as far as like terra firma. And I'm standing there waiting for the bathroom. And I'm like, dude, I'm like at like what, 35,000 feet. I'm flying across the freezing North Pacific, and I'm literally standing on aluminum or whatever tin, whatever airplanes are made of, just thin metal. I'm just standing on this thin metal, just miles and miles above the freezing Pacific. And it terrified me. Not no like panic button way, but I was just like, God, like this is crazy. This is crazy. I've put my whole reality on this like thin piece of metal between me and the abyss. And I'm just standing here in line waiting to use the bathroom, and I'm going to go sit back in my seat and watch the next 3 movies till I get to LAX. And my job is not to panic. Because see, when I start thinking about the nuts and bolts on airplanes, dude, that's why, like, I'm like, that's the thing, is like, I'm not a like, and that was one of my first big sober air flights too, was to Indonesia. I think I was like 2 years sober. I hadn't been on an airplane yet. And the reason on airplanes, I drink a lot, dude, because I was like, I would like think about bolts and factories and stuff. And I would be like, this goofy ass tin thing is just bolted together, welded together with freaking bolts. Like, how's that work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would spin about the bolts. How many bolts can a plane lose before it falls? Yeah, I just like spin out. So I drink and just forget about it all. So this was like my first big sober journey, was flying over to Indonesia and flying back. And I just remember sitting up there just as sober as can be, just going, this is crazy. I'm literally just moving over the realm on a little thin Aladdin's carpet of tin. You know what I mean? Like, and so when I think about these things, right, when you really start thinking about things like that, that's why I think people are terrified, because when it's easier to think about like crime and politics and supermarkets and failing economies, and so the economy is going to swing around because it keeps your mind occupied from the fact that the bolts are magical And that like when you really like think about like how airplanes fly with like lift and the whole thing, it's pretty magical, dude. Like the whole concept of air travel is pretty magical. Like I don't know, like you can get into a lot of talk about like what's really going on up there, but like let's just take this the in the book scientific approach that the thing's sucking air through and the air, the lift on the wings and the whole thing is why you fly. Even that to me is like a level of like magicianship that I I don't really like to think about too much, dude, because it really seems pretty magical, right? And so and we just take it for granted. They just get on an airplane, go fly around, and it's like all based upon like the lift on the wings and the moving through it and all this stuff. And so think about like society as a whole and your whole thing. And what I'm getting at ultimately is that this is why joy is the act of rebellion. If the entire system is made up of this believing in it, right? Like the only way any of this works, right? The monetary system, the governmental system, the all of it, all works based upon like we all believe that it works. Like we all believe that it works, so therefore it does, right? So if the system's based upon magical thinking, which I believe that it is, then take your magical thinking and apply it to your own system, right? And so what is the most magical thinking that you could possibly come up with, which is just joy? Yeah, dude. Just be joyful, right? Because that is an absolutely truthful state of being, because joy is based upon a connectivity with a deeper understanding of the infinite love that God has for you, right? And I got it. Like you may not be there yet. Your joy may just be like, I scored, a touchdown. But the real understanding of joy is it's deep. It is the ultimate elixir to this lower dimensional like situation, dude. And shit, it's Biker Benny, dude. Me and my wife were laughing about how you nicknamed her the hologram. Hologram, dude. She like it's a kick out of you, dude. But I don't know. So that's what it was, what it's coming, what where I'm at with this thing is why give your magical thinking to their magical sucking system. Like apply your own magical thinking to your own situation, and when you'll get there you'll realize that like the nuts and bolts of it are pretty like harsh, and they're pretty beautiful at the same time. I mean, as the little baby goats dying, I mean the sunset was fantastic tonight. Like as the little baby goats dying, all the other goats in the barn, all the other barnyard animals like are fully tuned into what's going on with the baby goat. And they're like, yeah, that's what's happening, dude. And feed me. And so that's what I'm getting at is I think that is why we have to get back to this sort of smaller footprint thing, is not because of some sort of hippy dippy thing, even though that's a good enough reason, is because you only have two ways for it to work, man. There's only two ways for it to work. It's sort of like, so I saw this thing the other day, man. The two ways for it to work. Back in the 70s, there was this guy. I saw this crazy post about it the other day. Read the thing. There was this guy who took like some old car in the 70s. He was some engineer. He took some old car and he wanted to drive across Morocco in this car, and it was some car, right? But he got stuck at a roadblock and they wouldn't let him go from one place to the other. So he was like, all right, this car has the capability to like go cross country to wherever he wanted to go, out in the middle of the Moroccan desert, dude. And so he took this car out into the middle of the desert, and he's trying to cross the desert in this like car, dude. I forget what it's one of those Europe cars, dude, just from the 70s, kind of, like a VW Bug. It kind of go anywhere, dude. And he got out there and he broke the axle. Nah, I forget what it is, dude. But he broke the axle. It was like one of those French ones. It wasn't a Citroen. It was something like that, though. He broke the axle, right? So this dude was like a full-blown like engineer guy. So he spent the next 10 days reconfiguring the parts he had on this car with the drivetrain and the engine to make this like motorcycle contraption, dude. Because he brought all his like, he knew that this might happen. Like he just went out prepared, and he was able to like bolt together this thing out in the middle of the Sahara Desert, this crazy like motorcycle together. And he has a picture of himself he took like in those 70s like photos, This all could be make believe. I don't know. It's a good story though. And there's a picture of him, and he's standing like in his like underwear, and he's got the car all stripped up, and he's got his thing he's building, his craft he's building, and he's using the shell of the old car as a shelter, and he's building this thing. And you can see on this thing there's everything that I've been talking about for the last like 30 minutes. He understands that there's only two ways to operate. It's this is fucked, or joy of the obstacle. Joy of what is going on. And he pulled it off. And that's what I'm getting at with why I think it's super important right now. It's not to not pay attention. It's to understand that like we've been given the ultimate time right now to back away from it all and realize that the joy is found in this really like significantly insignificant, meaningless meaningfulness, and this paradoxical thing. And that is breaking from the status quo, because the status quo says that we need to find meaning in this, that it has to have value. But I think for me, again, what was a giant reminder, and I think why this thing was on full display with this giant fire down in LA and stuff, burning up people's like there was some interesting thing that said the art collection that was burned up in the Palisades fire was like significant. Like some great works of art and some great cars were burned up in those fires. Just so what is it all about? It's not about trying. It's the only, you know what I mean? So we have to find the meaning in it, because if we try to find the meaning in the status quo by its very definition is temporary. It's just a temporary state of existence of the molecules vibrating at the right frequency. So that's what I got for you tonight. That's sort of where I'm at. Orangutans, put my link up there. I have a bunch of new t-shirts. I have the You Are the Tesla Coil t-shirts. I don't know if they're posted yet. I'm going to post them up tomorrow. So these aren't on. I don't think these are on the site yet. I have the You Are the Tesla Coil shirts. I got the my minifigure bull cut high frequency tribe shirts. These are, I think, online. No, those aren't on yet, but these ones are. Building the New Reality, dude. And this one actually supports our Puerto Rican homesteaders over there. So get one of those. And we got that going on. And the way I'm doing it, which is different, was I used to have like an open order where you would where you would order what you want and I'd print them as I go. But now I just do it where I print what I have t-shirt wise and I post them. So like your color, if the color isn't up, it just send me an email and then we put them up. But I'm trying to do it to remove the pressure, because that used to get me crazy. Was like I get an order and I'd be like, I don't have that color, dude, and it's gonna like. And then I drive over the lake and they didn't have that. I had to order it. So now I make what I have and I put it up, and the art's up there, and I've been working on a new piece over there somewhere, dude, and I got to finish that up. So, do you like David Broom, the new lighting? You approve? Okay. You approve of the new lighting. Fantastic, dude. I did it on your suggestion. So we're moving forward, dude. I have to. This is here. Let me here. Do you want to see behind the scenes? This is how hoopty my setup is, dude. That's how I got it set up, dude. It's we ain't buying into the status quo, never, dude. It's the Tesla, the old piece, dude. All right. So with that said, everyone, keep the frequency high, and we will see you at the next live stream. Thanks for supporting the dream. Use the name tags. Remember, God has blessed us, and let's go on from there. Good night, and good night, man.